chances are high that the Monaco Grand Prix might end up in the history books, as they might not happen again in the iconic Circuit de Monaco. The internet always loves arguments and discussions, especially when it comes to trending topics, but that is the beauty of the internet, innit? We get to see things from a broader perspective, and right now, that discussion is about Monaco. Monaco has always been one of the most iconic street circuits in Formula racing calendar. So many Formula 1 drivers even prefer to live in Monaco because of good weather, no taxation, closeness to other European cities, the safety that Monaco provides, and most importantly, English is the most widely spoken language here. They prefer to do it probably because they think that the location of their homes should be very close to the lifestyle that they have. Since Monaco is a city that's synonymous with Formula 1 racing, there's a question that needs to be addressed. Has Formula 1 become too big for Monaco? If there's one race every Formula 1 driver wants to win, that would be Monaco, along with their home Grand Prix. The difficulty of this racetrack, even for the finest Formula 1 drivers, is what makes it even more alluring for Formula 1 drivers. F1 races are getting close to its 24 limit, and you also have new Grand Prix coming on board in Las Vegas and Qatar. So you can see an increase in competition among current venues to retain their places in the F1 race. Formula 1 CEO Stefano Domenicali was so adamant about the fact that even classic circuits need to earn their spot, and those circuits cannot rely on past glories to guarantee future Grand Prix, which is why the future of Monaco is now quite questionable, because this could be one of the races that could be under threat. Monaco has always been a very intrinsic part of F1 history, and it also predates the World Championship that was first staged in 1929. It formed part of the F1 calendar in 67 of the World Championship's 73 seasons ever since it began in 1950. It was also part of that year's original 7-round calendar and was held every year between 1955 and 2019. Even in 2020, it was supposed to happen, but we all know how 2020 ended up. Monaco Grand Prix is also considered to be unofficial motorsport triple crown, along with the Indy 500 and 24 Hours of Le Mans. The Formula 1 race in Monaco has always been the most iconic one in the world. Even if you were to talk to non-F1 fans, they might have probably heard about the Monaco Grand Prix. The F1 drivers really love this circuit because it is probably the toughest and the most challenging track for so many of them. The F1 drivers have a very personal connection to the Monaco Formula 1 racing. For them, it feels like home. Monaco is also special because there is no other racetrack that you can compare to the Monaco track in terms of its beauty and surroundings. You get the natural beauty of the Mediterranean Sea and maritime Alps. The Circuit de Monaco is very well crafted through the tight streets of Principality. In Monaco, you could also see celebrities in their balconies having a glimpse of the race. Most of the Formula 1 races are held in the countryside, or sometimes near the metropolitan center. But that story is very different with the Monaco Grand Prix, because it is held right in the middle of a world-class city. The convenience and proximity of the circuit to the off-track entertainment is what helps make this Grand Prix a special one. Monaco is also known for its after-track events. It attracts loads of sponsors and celebrities who are looking to host massive parties. The very first Monaco Grand Prix was held in 1929. And surprisingly, even today, the circuit is very similar to that used in the first race. Only major changes would be the improvement of crash barriers and an extension of the final turn complex. The original circuit was about 3.337 kilometers long, including the 160 meters extra that was added to that distance. But last year, Formula 1 was actually willing to alter the circuit layout if there are chances that it might improve the racing experience, both for the drivers and also for the people who watch the entire event. The decades-old street circuit has witnessed so many professional races in recent years. It's surprising the track can still accommodate the F1 cars that have become wider and faster, but making quick overtake is quite a challenge on such narrow streets. At about just 2.1 square kilometers, Monaco is the second smallest sovereign in the world after Vatican City, which makes things really difficult for the country to extend the track beyond its current layout. So we cannot blame anybody here, it's just what it is. The size is the major constraint. So with a very rich history of Monaco, it makes a lot of sense why the Monaco Grand Prix has got a lot of fan following. The Monaco Grand Prix tracks have very narrow streets by today's standards. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible to overtake another car in Monaco. But it's just very difficult. If you think about it, loads of passing does not mean better racing, and it can get quite boring both for the drivers and also for us the viewers. For the drivers, it's all about finding that perfect moment to do the overtake instead of doing it all the time. The Monaco track has relatively short straights. This means that the drivers cannot solely rely on the drag reduction system to get past the cars in front of them. In Monaco, drivers really need to work for a pass and then risk their race, or maybe more. A small mistake might cost a lot for the driver and the entire team. The lap time is so short, which is about 80 seconds, so the drivers are constantly changing their gears. The problem with having no straights is that the drivers cannot relax for a couple of seconds during the race, which means they have to be completely focused on the race every single second. The final reason the Circuit de Monaco is exciting is the fact that it was actually not designed for modern-day F1 cars. It may not even be a perfect fit for the cars from the 1950s. So, the Monaco Grand Prix was always about the combination of ambience, tradition, historical value, and an extremely challenging circuit. The Monaco Grand Prix will help drivers learn to drive in control with precision, because streets don't forgive any mistakes, which means the drivers need to have relentless effort and concentration. Driving through a city street up to 320 km per hour through tight corners and no runoff zones might be quite dangerous, and that's what makes the Monaco Grand Prix exciting to watch. Monaco has got plenty of surprises for its drivers every time. This is one of the very few circuits where the driver's talent is required rather than their ability to understand their machine, and that is a reputation the Monaco Grand Prix had been carrying over the years. Those narrow streets combined with the unforgiving barriers that allow little to no room for error makes Monaco the race that every driver wants to win if they ever want to have their names engraved in the history of Formula One racing. The Monaco Grand Prix might be one of the few constants in a modern motorsport landscape because everything else has changed beyond recognition over the last decades. The beauty of the entire place cannot be underestimated, which makes the Monaco Grand Prix a jewel in the motorsports domain. In the end, having a rich history might be great for Monaco, but it might not be the reason why Formula One should continue to have races in Monaco. Formula One might have outgrown the Monaco circuit a long time ago. Formula One really got itself to a point where it does not commercially require to rely on the Monaco Grand Prix to keep the money rolling. Maybe the world needs to move on from Monaco, and that would be a huge turning point for the F1 racing and Formula One fans. This is that place where Formula One history could be immortalized. Ultimately, this is a great event with massive history to back it up. A beautiful atmosphere and a race every Formula One driver wants to win. For us, Formula One means the Monaco Grand Prix. The Monaco F1 contract also expires after this year's race, so maybe it does look like F1 became too big for Monaco.